minute. Okay, there we go. It's recording. Okay, close. Let me just close this. And no. So what tools do we need to use in AutoCAD? Just use this as visual aid. So this is your drawing space in black. The Draw tab consists of line, polyline, arc, circle, ellipse, rectangle, modify tab, etc. And then regular array, working command, copies and distributes. So you don't really need, for exercise 1, what we really need to do is just basically the line tools and the shape tools. So let me open up AutoCAD. Oh, buka. So sleepy. Bleh. I woke up earlier than I wanted to because of the thunderstorm at 4 a.m. today. Okay, so let's try this. So you have, depending on your version of AutoCAD, let's see what AutoCAD 2022 looks like. But anyway, most of your tools should be here in the upper bar. Looks like a drawing tools ribbon. And you have your lines here under home. Insert will have different functions. Basically, you can insert an image, attach an image. You're not really going to use that for this activity. Annotations, these are the dimension lines. We're not really going to use that. Parametric, never really used these before. Your different views, managing your different files. You could manage 3D files as well as 2D files. Output, this is for printing. Add-ins, you can add some apps. Collaborate, combining different kinds of drawing files. Basically, if you save in AutoCAD or you create a file in AutoCAD, it's called a drawing file. That's shortened to .dwg. Express tools, I don't really use this as much. Most of your tools for this sort of summer class will be here. So the line, the polyline, the circle, the arc, and I think an angle tool would be around here somewhere, but I would just use the shortcut. So let me bring up this thing, and I save this as a picture. CAD Exer1. Okay, download it. Did it go to downloads? Crap, where did that picture save to? Which picture? Oh, it went to my pictures. Oh, it's here. This is where you can use the insert tool. Sorry, this video is very messy. Attach image file. So I will look for that thing that I copied. Let me just put date modified CAD Exer1, open. Ah, crap. Exer1, open. Press OK. And then now it's asking me to specify insertion point. And you can basically just left click anywhere on the screen. Oh, but before that, let me just close this. Let's start. I got ahead of myself. Let's get started with a new drawing. So the basic drawing you want to start with are the drawing type, because there's several. There's AuCAD.dwt, AuCAD ISO, blah, 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 blah. So the one you want to use is AuCAD ISO.dwt. So this is the basic drawing file. So you get something like this. By default, what you see here is the grid lines are on. So these are just little squares here. Some people like them on, some people like them off. I prefer to turn them off. So that's this tool here, display grids on and off. But I think, did the manual say this? We should always set our units first. That's number one thing we need to do. So to do that, you go to units. Make sure you set it to, I think for this activity, we're using meters. Let me double check. I think we're using meters because we've always been using meters since drafting activity 01. So by default, I think it's set to millimeters because that's the international standard. Just change that to meters instead. Everything else should be the same. Decimal should be 0.0000 precision. Decimal degrees precision should be 0, meaning no decimal points after. Lighting, we don't really need that. Sample amplitude, okay. Limits is the next tool. Basically, this identifies the size of the paper we'll be using. I usually just set this to 20. Lower left corner will be 0, 0, 0, 0. That's the origin point. And the upper right corner will be sort of the end of our paper. So this is in meters, I think. So we can have, I just like set it to 100 by 100. So that should be fine. That way we have like 100 meters of drawing to work with, and we only need like a very small amount of space. This way, like I think what my instructor told me like back in the day was like, this just helps AutoCAD run better. Because if we don't set limits, AutoCAD just assumes no limits. So it might make the file lag or like freak out. So setting limits is a good idea. I think there's a video on this, which they could probably explain it in a better way. But I'm just like sort of ad-libbing it right now. Anyway, once you set the limits and the units, then you can start drawing. So again, let me attach that reference. Open. This video has been going on for a little longer than I imagined. So left click. I only left clicked it once, and now it's specifying a scale for the drawing, scale factor. So you can like type in a scale factor, you can just adjust it by moving your mouse. I want it a little bit bigger, so I want to draw it like that. RO is the shortcut for rotate. I have to slow down. So you see it here. If I type RO using the keyboard, it just fills in. It says rotate. And then you can left click rotate, or the faster way would be RO spacebar. That's the shortcut to rotate. And then once you selected the object you want to rotate, you can press spacebar again, and then click on a base point, or basically any point in the drawing that you want to rotate. It could be a drawing, it could be an object, and then rotate that object. So now we have that thing here. Now you can trace this, or you can do it from scratch, draw it from scratch. So I think I will draw it from scratch. I just want, it's a little bit bright for me. So whenever you add an image in AutoCAD, you can reduce the brightness or like add a fade. Just tell me if I'm going too fast, by the way. I can redo this lecture again on Monday. Okay. So on Monday, we'll be doing some sort of like an oral activity. I haven't decided yet, but basically it's plan reading, sort of to give those people time who don't have AutoCAD yet to download on Monday, and then we can start on this properly on Wednesday. Okay, so I made it like a little bit more transparent, so it's not so much samok to my eyes. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see, I want to draw this on a long bond paper size. So, crap, I put it on meters. I need to convert long bond paper into meters. Brain, let's see here. So long bond paper is 8.5 inches to M. So let's draw a 2.5 meter paper here. Okay, now I'm getting ahead of myself again. So the shortcut to the line tool, you can go here and make a line, or you can press L to make a line. So the way to activate your line is press L, space bar. Now it asks you to draw as your first point, and you basically draw anywhere. And then you'll notice that I'm not locked to any sort of certain angle. I can basically draw freehand, but I want to make a 90-degree line, like a straight edge. So the way I do that is I need to click to turn on ortho mode. So this limits my line to either being vertical or horizontal at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so this makes drawing straight lines way easier. So I want 2.5, so I enter the dimension, and we're using meters, so this should be 2.5 meters. So it's really just that small. I'm basically drawing a long bond paper, and then that's 13 inches. That's 3.96, 3.96, and what's the other one? 24. You can just go 4 decimal points. That's how specific you can get with this program. And then to make it, to close this like set of lines, I can just highlight the endpoint and sort of just move my mouse here to the right, and then it will automatically tell me that it's the same length on the other side with this like green line over here. See it? See this green line here? So you just left click, and then you can click it again here, and that should be a closed object. So are we doing okay? It's not confusing yet? It's a lot easier once you get the program and you can try it out yourself. It's 3:14. Another way to draw this kind of line, this kind of object, if you notice, it highlights different segments of the line. So that's 1, 2, 3, the endpoint, the endpoints and the midpoint, and then the same from here, the same from here, the same from here. So that's line. The other tool is called Polyline. And the difference is, I'll show you, shortcut for Polyline is PL. But anyway, let me just show you that if you want to move this object drawn with lines, move tool is like M. Basically, dili siya connected, mabungkag siya. Polyline makes it into one object. So I'm just going to trace again over this thing. So I get the same dimensions. I use another shortcut called close. The difference between these two objects is this one is like 4 separate objects. This one is one object. So if I use the move tool, shortcut M, and then spacebar again, I can move the whole thing, even if I just select a small segment of the line. And this will be very useful for editing. Whereas if I just draw a line and then move one part of the line, only one part of the object moves. So it's just a little bit more efficient to draw with polylines than with lines. Although there are circumstances in computer-aided drafting where you want to draw a line, most often than not, I say like 90% of the time, you would draw with a polyline instead. So let me just reduce this so it's more to scale. I'll let you know the shortcuts I'm using. I'm using SC as a shortcut for scale. SC again, still too big. Let's make it like that big. Okay. So I could definitely trace this, but I just want to show you guys the different tools you can use. So let's say this is the paper size, and I want to have like a 1 centimeter border. So 1 centimeter is 0.1 meters. I can use the offset tool. Shortcut is O. Type through distance, that's fine. And sorry, O, and then the through distance, which is 0.1, meaning 10 cm. And now I have a border over here. And then I can sort of draw this. But for the first activity, I think it's AutoCAD, so it should be easy. I'll just copy this. I said I wouldn't trace, but here I am tracing. Okay. So you can use the move tool and put it there. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. You can have your title block there. So you can have different kinds of lines like this. This one is 45 degrees. This one's 30 and 60. And since I already started tracing, might as well. It's a very slippery slope, so you can just trace that. I'm just going to trace the borders. That's all I'll be tracing. So we can sort of do the same thing. There's a divide tool, but you can also like manually figure out the center point by you can use your manual drafting sort of techniques in digital drafting. That's why it's very good to start with manual drafting. So I can sort of find the center point here like that. That's the center point there. Or it can just like tell me immediately right away with a triangle symbol that that is the center point. But what happens if I want to divide it into 3? You can do it this way, which is a manual drafting way. Let's just like try to do it the manual drafting way. So this point should be here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm drawing a center point, and I'm drawing another X to identify another center point. So this will divide it into 2 right down the middle, but the line I want is this line over here. This intersection of this line and this line. And that should give me the equal division of the 3 equal parts. Or the more efficient way of doing it, I don't know why I showed you guys that, but you can do that, is like exploding this rectangle over here by pressing X, and then just using the divide tool. Select the object to divide, enter the number of segments, 3, and then you can sort of find the node. Did I have nodes turned off? Restrict ortho mode, snap, center node, quadrant. Here. So this is what they call a node, basically a guideline. So I divided it by 3, found the node, and now it's like equally divided into 3. And then you can find the center point here, and then I think we can just eyeball that. Anyway, it's 320. Let me save this as sample drawing. Let's see documents, desktop. This will be a long video, but I can do a shorter one on Monday. Okay, so horizontal lines, very easy. There are no dimensions here, but we can sort of guess. This looks like 0.1. It's 0.04. I'll tell you guys how to set up the dimension lines as well later on. Okay, so using your offset function, you can offset 0.04, and then you can just do that. Now you're filling up the slides. The faster way to do this would be you do a bunch, and then you just copy. CO is a shortcut for copy. And there you go. And then another thing I want to touch on before I end this video, you can also apply line weights in AutoCAD. So currently everything is on a default line weight, but if you want to highlight different line weights, you can go to the properties here. You see this tab over here called properties. So I want to change the line weight of this thing, basically this outer border thing, to be thicker. So let's say our thickest line obviously is the border, so I'll start with that. So I'll switch it. You have it here, 0.05, 0.09, 1.3. I'll set the border to 0.8. And then I'll, let's see here, view. Let's join viewport configuration view manager. Clicks over here, options, display, show text manager, show text manager. I usually don't turn on line weights because it gets in the way when I'm drafting. But for just so to show you guys how the line weights change in the program, I want to turn it on. I forgot how. Show text boundary, display line, blah, blah, blah. So page manager, printable area, crosshair size. Can't seem to find it. Open and save, plot and publish. User preferences, drafting. Replacement, ignore hatch, drafting tooltips, selection, profiles. It's supposed to be here, but I can't find it. I need to, I guess I'll look up. Go to the old YouTube. CAD display line weights. You show and hide line weights added to the status bar. It's under the status bar. Keep accidentally opening AutoCAD. Properties, annotation, modify. Can't find it. I can't find it. Let's see. Ads. Just show me. The Canva intro. Yes, changing the line weights. Yes, yes, yes. Line weight settings. How do you get there? I guess I'll just type it. Line weight. Here we go. You just type line weight. Display line weight. Okay. Yeah, but everything should be on YouTube. This is where you can basically learn by yourself. The teacher is just here to sort of guide you. So this is really why I turn off line weights, because it looks so thick over here. 0.8 looks very thick, but when you go actually to the paper, which is another thing we'll be talking about later on, it's not as thick. So this is what they call a viewport. Sorry, this discussion is very all over the place, but I'm just showing you the different things you can do with AutoCAD. So let me just edit that right to here-ish. Come on, let me click. Push. Okay. You can see here in this is called the paper, like the plot view, basically your printing view. And it's not as thick on paper, but if you go to AutoCAD, the model view, it's like almost twice as thick normally. And when you actually see it in the finished product, that's why I turn it off, because it's very distracting. But you can really see the effect of the different line weights. And it's super easy, especially compared to manual drafting. You can just click, and you're done. Anyway, let me set that off again, because it's really distracting for me. Anyway, you know it's set to 0.8. And another thing to sort of like remind you that this line is 0.8 thickness, you can change the color. Different architectural and drafting offices have their own sort of legend for like different colors. What do their colors mean? In my experience, some offices would start magenta as the thickest line, and other offices would use red as the thickest line. But you can choose whatever. I guess for this class, we can sort of just start as red as the thickest line. So our sort of legend or standard SOP for our class, red will be the thickest line, yellow will be the medium line, and then we can have white as the thinnest line. So I want this as a medium line here. So I want to switch that to, since 0.8 is the thickest, I can put this to 0.6 and make that yellow. So now we know, because we assign colors to it, yellow is our thickest line. Red is our thickest line, yellow is our medium line, and then white is our thinnest line. So let's say, is this the center point? This looks like the center point. It is the center point. So you can do something like that. So now visually, you have a perception, or you can tell that these are the thinnest lines over here. This is the medium lines, and et cetera, et cetera. Also, we didn't change the setting for these white lines. I think we'll just make it, no, I'll leave it white. Let's change the settings, and so it was 0.8, 0.4, and then let's call this 0.2. Okay. And now, another note before I end this video. Every time you draw a new line, it doesn't have the properties of, it's basically a default line. There's a way to set it. Now this line becomes a 0.4 line, but you have to sort of I think there's a better way to like make it more efficient. I just never learned. I could probably look that over in the weekend. What I do is just I make all the lines I need and then assign the line weights after. So that's just my way of doing it, but there might be like better ways of doing it. Like more likely there are better ways. I just never learned. So these are horizontal lines. You can use your offset tool, or it's already automatically set to 0.04, and you can just fill in the space there. You can manually click it. You can copy paste it. I'm just manually clicking it because like it's not really that much trouble. And move that there, and then there we go. We're done with basically 1/3 of the whole drawing. On Monday, I think we can use up the whole time. How is everyone doing there?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Okay, so far so good. If you have any
Just,
questions, feel free to ask.
I'm just messing around AutoCAD.
Okay. Yes. Our proper sort of discussion on AutoCAD will be on Wednesday still. So let's call this orthographic. Okay. So anyone else who has started downloading AutoCAD, having trouble, please let me know. And then for this part, we're going to draw 45-degree lines. You can use your rotate tool to create a 45-degree line. Type in 45 and just press. So you can see it's not extended all the way. There's an extend tool. You can click EX. Select the objects or objects that you want to be extended. So the idea here is you need a endpoint for the line to extend to. So you need at least 2 lines. So now when I hover my cursor over the line that I want to be extended, it automatically extends it to the second line I selected, like that. And then since we're using 0.04, let's just offset it at 0.04. So we can just do that. There's a more efficient way of doing this. I'm just like lazy. And now I want to clean up these like overlapping lines. I can use the TR tool, basically a shortcut for trim. So TR. It's called trim. Select the line that you want to keep first and press space, and then select the lines that you want to delete after, and then press space. So select the line that you want to keep, and then select the lines you don't want to keep. Okay, that's pretty much it. And then you can just copy paste. Want these lines over here, copy pasting them over there. Extending these lines over here. Trimming those lines over there. And then just copy pasting again. CO. There's another tool called hatching, which would make this a lot faster. But let's just limit ourselves to lines, trim, and offset. So that's main tools we're using: line, trim, offset, line weights, angle. I think that's all we need for this part. And then, am I still recording? It's a very long video. I'm worried how long have I been recording. And then we'll discuss the circles probably like on Monday or Tuesday. Monday or Wednesday. And then for text, before I end this video, MT. Shortcut for text is MT. Basically, it stands for multi-line text. And it asks you over here to specify the first corner and the opposite corner, basically a rectangle. And you can see here the text size is huge. So let's call it a text. Reduce the text size is over here in the upper left, called text height. I'll change it to 0.1. Then, so I want it smaller. So what is this called? Figure 1, horizontal and vertical line. Figure 1, horizontal and vertical line. And it's still too big. You can just over here You can manually change the text height by double clicking the text, going into the text height bar over here under annotative, then manually typing the text. So it was at 0.1, let's say 0.05, 0.05, and now it's like even smaller. And then if you move this edge here, it will automatically move the text as well. So I'm just holding left click, and then it moves the line, the text. And then similar to Word, you can have the text, sorry, when you double click, you can align it left, align it center, etc. over here. It's under the paragraph tab. So that's how you do that. And then I wouldn't require guys to put in the University of San Carlos logo. Usually I can give you a JPEG. I think I can give you a JPEG file for that. But for the purpose of like expediency, it's just a lot easier to just leave it there. Or maybe we can try, depending on how the class feels on Monday. Okay, so basically that's it for the lines part. We'll discuss circles on, what do you call this? On Wednesday. Monday, we'll do like a bit of an oral activity just for me to make sure that you guys understand how to read plans. Basically, the questions on Monday will be like, if I talk to one of you guys, I'll be like, what is this thing? Control plus. Right? I'll ask you, how tall is this object, or what is the height of this object? And then I'll look for a better image, and then you can tell me. But so you can basically read what's on here. How wide is it? What am I looking at? So questions like that. What is this thing? Something like that. We have very quick oral sort of question and answer. I guess I'll put in, I think I'll need to adjust my, what do you call this? Class record as well. I need to put in activity there. We can actually do that now, but I don't have images, so we'll probably just do it on Monday. So I want you guys to focus on downloading the programs, both SketchUp and AutoCAD. And then, yeah, we'll use that next week. I'll need to insert a thingy here. So this will be our midterms. I need to insert one activity here. Insert one to the left. Sweet. We'll call this oral activity. Oral quiz. Let's give it 30 points. This is week 3. Okay, I think that's all of it. And if you answer all my questions, I think I'll ask 3 questions per student, 10 points per question. So if you get 2 out of 3, you're good. 1 out of 3, maybe not so good, but you can like make bawi sa other activities. I think that's pretty much it. Do we have midterms? Oh, yeah, we do have midterms. Supposed to be July 9. Okay, we do have midterms. But I think since medyo apiki ta sa time, I guess I'll figure out as we go. Let me see how fast I can encode this into ISMIS. So the way we're going to break up, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that makes sense. But this is 50% of the final grade. I'm just like thinking about how I've been recording for too long. Stop recording. I'm just thinking about how I break up the grades so that the final